What is up, friends, and welcome back to the Life's a Dance podcast. I am your host, Trey Culata. Thank you, as always, for joining me on this crazy and beautiful dance through life as we explore being our authentic selves, living our most authentic lives, and living up to our fullest potential. So, today, we are covering the number one rule that everybody needs to understand, and most of us are getting very wrong when it comes to creating more wealth and manifesting more money in our lives. And I'm going to get into what that rule is, why it's important, my own personal experience with this rule, and how you can go out and implement it the correct way starting right after you listen to this podcast. So make sure you listen all the way to the end, guys, because there's a lot to cover today. And I'm really excited about it. As usual, you know me, I'm always hyphy. Oh, yeah. And quick update from one of my last episodes. I did sign up for a dance class, guys. Woo, woo. Trey Cool's getting back into the game, except this time it's ballet. I wanted a salsa class, couldn't find one, so I went with ballet instead for now until I can figure out where I can get my salsa fix. So taking steps, guys, in the right direction. So what is the number one rule that most of us are getting wrong when it comes to manifesting more money? Here's the deal, guys. Drum roll. Brrr. It is respecting the energy of money. You have to respect the energy of money. Otherwise, money ain't going to respect you. And what do I mean by this? Well, most of us, or a lot of us, I should say, I don't know about most of us, but a lot of us, we get our paycheck at the end of the week or every 2 weeks. We go out, and what's the first thing we do? We head to the liquor store. We're buying a 6-pack of beer. We're buying shit on Amazon. We're going to get our hair and our nails did. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but is the first thought in your mind, hey, I need to put some of this money aside? Because here's the deal. When we're talking about the universal bank of intelligence, if you are unable to manage a small amount of money, what on earth makes you think that you are ready to receive a large amount of money? The universe sees what you're doing. Universal intelligence knows what's going on at all times, and it's here supporting your journey. And it's not going to give you anything that you can't handle. So if you can't handle small, you cannot handle big. Very, very basic. And actually very simple to understand. So what's my personal experience with this? Well, guys, strap in. I've got a great story that I'm about to tell you. So as we covered in my last episode, my mental story around money, which I got from like my internal story about money, which I got from watching, my parents, right? My mom was an accountant, very, very, always saving, kind of stingy, not very generous, kind of a hoarder when it came to her money. And I kind of adapted those same habits, not to say that I saved all my money. Obviously, as teenagers, we have to learn a lot when it comes to that stuff. And in college, that's when those credit card company stands are popping up on all the corners like, hey, open a credit card, right? So I wasn't completely and utterly safe and sound, let's say, with my money. But I was kind of a hoarder. I wasn't very generous with it. And, but I wasn't really making a whole lot as it was. So that's where my money story came in. It's like if you have money, you got to hoard it and not be generous with it and not, do things with it. So fast forward to the marriage to my now ex-husband. He was terrible. And I mean terrible with his money. Like the man doesn't even have a bank account. So that goes to show you, like banks won't even work with this guy. So me being the, I guess, smarter of the two and the breadwinner, I managed to get us between his stuff and my stuff. We were in $45,000 worth of credit card debt. Then the divorce hits, right? So he assumes none of it. I take on all the burden. And I am a stay-at-home mom at the time. I had quit my job, no income coming in, one little toddler and another one on the way. So 2 under 2, right? Both in diapers, one not even here yet, right? But when she did get here, I was still dealing with all that debt. And my mom said, she's the accountant, right? She's like, well, why don't you just file for bankruptcy? Because bankruptcy isn't like, they don't look at it like they used to since the housing market crashed. Because this was, after the housing market crashed around 5 years afterward or so. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I have a goal. I want to buy me and the girls a house. And if I file for bankruptcy, it's just going to put me back even farther. And on top of that, there was a part of me that said to myself, well, granted, I wasn't even the one who accrued all the debt. It wasn't solely my responsibility, but I took it on. I said, you managed to get yourself into this, you're going to get yourself out. And so I dug in and I sacrificed. And that was the one thing I did learn from my old money story that I acquired from my mother, was how to deprive myself, right? And just, I started working 2 and 3 jobs. I was driving Uber at night. I was selling life insurance on the side. And then I had a day job. So I was just, and on top of that, I had called and consolidated all my debt so that it was just one massive, basically like a mortgage payment on top of my rent payment every month. Oh, it was crippling, because to have credit card debt with those high interest rates, forget it. So anyway, fast forward, I'm just throwing money at this debt, just aggressively attacking it. And after a few years, I was able to fully pay it off and get approved for a home loan for me and my kids. It was the dream. I fucking did it, dude. I made it happen. And as a prize, as a reward, the universe said, let us grant you this loan from the bank, right? You are worthy. I am credit worthy now. And then what ended up happening with that? So that house ended up becoming my very first investment property, which I turned around and sold for $150,000 profit. I took that money and turned it and reinvested it into a property that I am now developing, my tiny house. So, and I am just proving to the universe every time that I am worthy of more and more credit, more money comes in, because I'm not just squandering it on shit that I don't really fucking need. I mean, and the flip side to that is when we go into actually how you practice this rule, you have to implement some system of reward, because it can't be all work all the time. Otherwise, you get defeated and give up and go back to go on a spending spree and binging on, Amazon or whatever. But the point is that I proved that I could handle a smaller amount of money and then a larger and then a larger. I paid my debt, right? And now I can handle more. And now, more doors are opening. And that's another thing I want to make clear, is that when we're talking about manifesting money, we are not just talking about sitting in a chair, closing your eyes and wishing for a stack of cash to fall in your lap. That's all good and fine, but that's not going to get you where you need to be. The whole point of manifestation is to align yourself with the energy of abundance and then be inspired to take the aligned action that you need to take in order to acquire that money, and aligning with that energy so that synchronicities start to happen, like meeting some random person that just so happens to, be into what you want to do, or has the money to support your goal or finance your thing, or maybe somebody is reading a book that is in line with, what you've been thinking about doing or accomplishing. These are the kinds of things that we need to be looking out for, and the signs that we need to be looking out for, because it's not just about sitting around and twiddling your thumbs. You have to go out there and you have to actually do the work. And that's where most people fail. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to save. They don't, they just want to rack up the credit card debt. And all that's doing is sending a signal to the universe that abundance, financial success and abundance are a mismatch for you. because you are not going to be able to handle a larger amount of money in that bank account. We hear about it all the time. People winning the lottery and then pissing it away within 12 months, right? It happens all the time. So how do we, this is a good segue into the next piece, the final piece. How do we actually start implementing respect for money? Well, first thing is save. I don't care if it's $5 a paycheck. You can start somewhere, because then that even becomes a really amazing upward spiral and addiction of watching your little nest egg grow. It's so cool. Like, you feel so proud of yourself. And if you're in a hole, start digging yourself out. Take that step of consolidating the debt like I did and making it manageable. There is always a way out. So figure out what that is. Start showing that you respect the money by saving it and or investing it. So when I got that $150,000 check from selling my last investment property, I took a big portion of it, and I put it into the next thing. My grandmother left me some money. I took that money and put it into the next thing, because I wanted to honor her memory, and I wanted to show the universal intelligence, bank of intelligence, that I know what I'm doing and that I'm worthy of more. Okay. So, but when we go out and the first thing we're doing is, spending money on bottle service at the club and clothes and shit we don't need online and all this other crap, but let me be clear. You do have to install, like I said, a system of rewards. So let's say you go all month saving your money. Let's set it up in advance. If you hit that goal, then reward yourself with something, because that's going to give us the dopamine hit that we need to stay motivated and keep going. And imagine where you'll be at the end of even this year, because there's still 9 months to go, if you just implement these small steps. And again, reward yourself along the way. Maybe at the end of the month, you crack a little bottle of champagne. That Chandon only costs $24.99 at the King Soopers. So it's affordable. It's a small thing. Shit, I treated myself to a $4.99 basil plant that is now sitting in my window right now. So I don't know if that's sad, but for me, it brings me joy. I love plants, I feel, and now I have fresh herbs that it's the gift that keeps on giving. So, but it was a simple thing that I did, because right now I am on a budget, but I wanted to treat myself to a little something that makes me happy. And seeing that little basil plant thrive in my kitchen window is bringing me joy every single day. So it's a good investment, in my opinion. So just make sure you reward yourself, give yourself the dopamine hit, because if you deprive, and trust me, I'm fucking good at it. That's how I managed to hustle through that debt as fast as I did. So thanks, Mom. I guess there was a good, a good outcome from all that other story around money, which we're going to get into next week. Each of our stories around money, we're going to dive into that a little more deeply. So stay tuned for that episode. But for now, that's going to do it for today. Respect the money. And the energy of money and the universe will reward you with more. That's how that works, okay? You will manifest more. If you can show that you can handle a little, you can demonstrate that you can handle a lot. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode in the comments, if you have a few minutes. Also, if you got anything out of this, please share it with somebody else who needs to change their money mindset, or who might be struggling trying to make ends meet, because maybe this will be the thing that motivates them to start honoring the energy of money. Okay, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day. I love you all. Till next time, let's dance.